Welcome. We're back. This is going to be a fun stream. I got a lot of things I want to talk about. I don't even know. I mean, we're probably going to do ticket requests in a while, but I have just so much that I want to cover. I should probably like write it down somewhere. Maybe I'll just look at the tweet that I put out to try and remember. Alright, there's a lot I want to cover this stream. There's a lot I want to talk about. We're going to get into everything. Make sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I don't know if I said welcome, but there I just said it. Hope everybody had a good day today. Pretty hot market this week, and I'm going to talk about a lot of other opportunities I'm looking at, a lot of different things while people are hopping into the stream. Like Drew said, I'm just going to talk about Bitcoin for a couple minutes. After I talk about Bitcoin, I'm going to talk about Clover and Wish and a couple other stocks I'm looking at. After I do that, I'm going to talk about the overall stock market. After that, I'll talk about the ongoing trades. And then I also want to talk about how I'm going to be kind of repositioning, not my whole trading style, but I'm going to be looking into something. We're going to talk about it later. I'm going to try out some new stuff. Again, I know it's pretty vague, but we're going to get to everything. So let me know how you're doing in the chat. Hope everybody had a good one today. Futures are pretty flat right now. You know, looking at Bitcoin to kick things off, it looks pretty good to me. We had that hidden bearish divergence. Looking at the MACD now, classic bullish divergence is starting to develop on Bitcoin. So that is pretty interesting. On the daily, I don't remember the last time we had classic bullish divergence. It was must have been a while ago. The last divergence we had on the daily, it looks like, was this hidden bullish divergence, which ended up taking Bitcoin from 30,000 up to 65,000. So I don't really see any other divergence. I might have missed one of them, but we haven't had real good looking divergence, in my opinion, on Bitcoin since February, and now we are seeing that on the daily. If we go over to the 4 hour, I've been talking about it for the last 2 nights on the stream. That descending broadening wedge, even last night, I pretty much showed everybody how the supply line flipped into a demand line, and then today we got the pivot. Also, if we look at the daily, off of that bullish pin bar, we got 2 other consecutive green candles in a row. So, you know, there is still that lingering head and shoulders. I didn't really even come up with this. It's just, you know, I go on CNBC and they're talking about it. Other YouTube channels are talking about it. You know, a lot of people are concerned with this, but really, you know, with head and shoulders and cup and handles, they're not really actual patterns until they confirm, until you break a neckline, right? No neckline was really broken. You kind of fell under it, but again, you never got a confirmation with the candle close on the daily. So as long as you can continue to close candles above 30K on Bitcoin, it's looking pretty good to me. A lot of different cryptos also are looking pretty good to me. I said the same thing last week, and a lot of crypto trades did not work out. We'll see this time around. I haven't really, you know, jumped ahead yet with putting out new crypto trades, but I'm monitoring them. I'll check them over the weekend. We'll see what happens. And that's really it for Bitcoin. So yeah, I think actually I'm gonna talk about the market first, the overall market. After I talk about the market, we'll talk about Clover and Wish and a couple other stocks and my idea of what's potentially could happen in the market in the next couple of months. Again, just wait till I talk about it. It's gonna be in like 10 minutes. Until then though, make sure to hit that like button. Let's talk about the market today and this week and going into tomorrow. The S&P was up 0.5%, NASDAQ was up 0.70%, the Russell was up 1.5%, the ARK ETF was up 1.5%, the Dow Jones was up 1%. Another really good day for the market. I think there was a headline on CNBC that this is like, I think one of the best weeks for the S&P in like 2 months or something. And so far this week, the S&P has gone up about 2%, which is really, really good for 1 week. That classic bearish divergence kind of looks like it's behind us for now. Closed at an all-time high on the S&P. Is not the Russell, but we also did on the NASDAQ. So continuing to trend up in the market. If we come over here, take a look. The divergence, well, there's no divergence, but the MACD is starting to go back towards green for the S&P 500, which is good as well. If we look at the Russell 2000, had a big day today. Could retest 233 soon. We've had 4 pretty good days in the market. This whole entire week has been pretty nice for the market. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Typically, you know, going 5 for 5 is not typical, you know, to have 5 really good days in a row, like a full week worth of action. It's possible, but, you know, I'm definitely going to be a little bit cautious tomorrow just because, you know, end of week profit taking and so on. But you never know. Things can keep going like how we did over here. We had a crazy streak back in the end of March, early April. We went up for like 2 weeks in a row. So you never know. Looking on the NASDAQ, anything above 14,200 is really, really bullish. That's that resistance we've been talking about for months now. Looks completely fine. I mean, obviously there were much lower risk areas, but we've had a very nice run, and for now it's continuing. If you look at the VIX, it's actually breaking that 16 level, which was the same level it was at before the COVID crash. So the VIX actually saw its lowest level today since the COVID crash at the lows, which is also very, very interesting. The RKTF continuing to run, getting close to that 130 resistance. The Dow Jones having a big day. You know, the talks about infrastructure from Biden around, I think it was around like 2 p.m., maybe 3 p.m. The US 10-year yield, classic bullish divergence, is confirmed now. We'll see how that develops. If we look at the dollar, back over the 200-day moving average. So those ones look a little bit, I'm not going to say scary, but keep an eye on the US 10-year note as well as the dollar. That could be a little bit of a concern. Other than that, everything looks fine for now in terms of like a midterm outlook. Even short term, we just had 4 really good days. You never know if we just get a pullback day, a profit-taking day, which we have seen quite a bit this year when we had a really good start to the week, or pretty much 4 good days in a week. We have had a couple times, I remember back in February, March, where Fridays were not too good. But again, there's no need to be worried about anything. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Just take it day by day. And that's really it for the overall market. So now I'm going to talk about Clover and Wish. After I talk about Clover and Wish, I'll probably talk about a couple other stocks, but I want to really talk about what I'm looking at going into the next couple of months. I'm starting to, we'll get to it. I don't even want to talk about it yet. Let's just talk about Clover and Wish right now. We'll start off with Clover. It's been talked about every night on stream. You know, it's been one of the focal points of the stream for at least the past week. Today, it gapped up again for the 3rd day in a row. At one point, at the highs today, it went all the way up to 1510. Yesterday it closed at 1383. So very, very big move right at the open. We can probably go down to the 15-minute chart on Clover. Huge move at the open, and then it bled out on low volume for the rest of the day. And this is something that's been happening a lot. Okay, look over here. We have a gap up in the morning, have a big nice move in the morning, bled out on low volume for the rest of the day, gapped up again the next morning, bled out. Even if we come over here, gapped up, bled out on low volume, and then on Tuesday we did have a good move. But what's been happening the last 3 days on Clover, literally the last 3 days exactly, is there's been a morning gap up, then it's like a good first hour of the day, and then for like, you know, pretty much up until like the final hour of the day, until power hour, it just bleeds on low volume. And then typically, well, 2 out of the last 3 days we did see a little bit of a bounce towards the end of the day. Today we didn't really, but a stock gapping up 3 days in a row is pretty unusual. We did fill the gap from this morning, which is good, but we did not fill the gap from the previous days on low time frames. Going into tomorrow, again, I'm staying open-minded. I don't know if we're going to do the same thing for the 4th day in a row if we cap up again, but Clover has been a dream for me trading it this week. I've traded it every single day this week. It's been my biggest winner this week. I've just been following the moves. You know, a lot of people get frustrated. Oh my gosh, it closed red today, but yeah, it was up 10% in the morning. So every single day this week, I've sold the morning pop. I didn't really touch it for a few hours, and then I get back in towards the end of the day, and that's what I've done for the past 2 out of 3 days. I also got back in towards the end of the day again today, just in case it happens again. Even if it doesn't, I've already made so much profit on it this week, and I did lower my position size quite a bit. But that's just what I've been playing on Clover on the low time frames. It's been pretty fun. If we go over to the 4 hour though, hidden bullish divergence is almost confirmed on Clover on the 4 hour. That's pretty much the first high time frame bullish variable that we have seen on the chart since the initial, you know, crazy squeeze in the beginning of the month. And it's looking pretty good for right now. I mean, it could definitely get invalidated. It's not, the MACD is not green yet, but looks pretty good for right now. I've had probably 6 or 7 people ask me today, where's the swing trade alert? Where's it at? It's not there yet. You know, currently I've been seeing a good potential in day trading Clover, but I'm not fully ready for a swing trade just yet. It's not right where I want it. I'm sure many people who were back here in January remember those exact words, because back in January, it was quite literally right over here. Clover had its first crazy run all the way up until $17, and then it started dropping and dropping and dropping. This was when it was called IPOC, when it was a SPAC. And everybody was asking me, hey, you see that hidden bullish divergence, right? Where's the trade alert? And I said, not yet, not yet. I want it at 1320. Why did I want it there? Because it was the only real, level on the chart. It was the previous resistance. We got to that 1320 level. I put out a trade right at 1320. The target was right up here. It was a great trade. Pretty much the same thing as what I'm looking at right now. Same exact level. It's just about 6 months later. I want that 1320 level. So I don't know if we're going to get it. It's only like 50 cents below the current price. If we do get that 1320 level, and if the divergence is still developing on the 4-hour, I'll probably put out a trade on Clover whenever that happens, if it happens. If that doesn't happen tomorrow and we gap up again, I'll probably take profits on my options for the 3rd day in a row. Then I'll wait till the end of the day and I'll reassess then. But, I'm not going to be chasing this after it just went from $11 up to $15 in like 3 days. No need for me to chase that. If it goes without me, I'm still going to be day trading it. I don't need to put out a swing trade. You can always make your own decisions, but that's just how I'm currently looking at Clover. And that's really it for the recap of Clover today. We got 40 people in the stream right now. We only have 14 likes. All right, let's hit that like button. Doesn't give me any money, but it just makes me happy, and it's cool, okay? It makes you feel better when you hit the like button. Try it out, trust me. Let me know how you feel after you hit it. Let's talk about Wish now. Wish, like 4 or 5, like really every single trading group that I'm in that's not like, the free trading movement was talking about Wish today. I'm not gonna like name them or anything, but I'm in like 4 or 5 other Discords. Every single one was talking about Wish. Also, I go on Twitter. Half the people I follow are talking about Wish. I go over to Reddit. Half the mentions on Wall Street Bets are about Wish. Everybody seems to be talking about Wish in the past week or so. We've been talking about Wish on stream for the past week or so as well. I traded it like one day. I day traded it like last week for one day, made a little bit of profit, I think. But I've just been, for the most part, watching Wish from the sidelines. But we've been covering it on stream. I've been talking about this inverse head and shoulders formation. It's right over here on the 4-hour. It's continuing to develop. It's all about that $15 area, and this is not just something I'm looking at. Everybody's looking at that $15 area. You go on Twitter, everybody's talking about it. I was just watching another live stream. They were talking about it. That $15 area is the area on Wish. I think after hours it went up a little bit higher. If it gets above 15, that was your high from June 9th. It was your resistance at the end of April. It was your support in the beginning of March when the S&P was at the bottom of this descending broadening wedge down over here. $15. Get above 15 with volume and you hold above it. I think 1750 is possible. Why not? You know what I'm saying? It's already been there before this year. There's so much hype around it. It is possible. Is it something I'm personally going to be chasing? Probably not. And I said the same thing about GameStop. Do I regret that in hindsight? Kind of, but also kind of not. It's not typically my trading style to get something or to be entering a position after something goes up, 40% in 2 weeks. That's just not how I trade. I can make 40% on call options in a couple hours. I don't need those types of moves, but for a lot of people who are, only equity traders, these are big opportunities, right? Of course. But I always want to talk about both sides of it. If it can't break over 15, then your support is probably just this demand line. It had a little bit of a fake out of the demand line today, and then it just reclaimed it and kept going. It was pretty weird, honestly. But that demand line is still valid, in my opinion. Just chart that. It's pretty easy to chart it on your 1-hour chart, and you just want to hold that. There is also some 1-hour hidden bullish divergence developing on Wish, so we'll see if that, it implies a continuation of the uptrend. We'll see if it occurs. Yeah, it's all about that $15 level. Pretty close to it. Good day today. It went red to green, and I know that this is going to be, on everybody's watch list tomorrow. Again, like I said, everybody is talking about this one. On whatever platform I go to, everybody's talking about Wish. So everyone's going to be looking at it. I also think everybody's going to be looking at the 15 level. Could get hot above that. I might try and day trade it tomorrow. We'll see. But again, it's not usually my type of swing trade. I like day trading a lot of these, you know, hyped up names. It's pretty, I'm not gonna say easy to day trade them, but I have found a lot of success day trading these names. Just swing trading, I like swing trading my growth stocks and, you know, the normal swings that I put out. Just makes a little bit calmer for me to, you know, manage everything, kind of see how the trade is going and stuff like that. But yeah, that's Clover and Wish. Let's get to 20 likes. Like right now we have 19. That means one person hit the like button. Thank you. That's really it for Clover and Wish. UWMC, we talked about it last night. It's still looking really interesting to me. I gave out a call option idea to premium members yesterday. As of today, I think they were up like 60% in the morning. I did take quite a bit of profits on it when it was up 60% in the morning. But this week's been crazy. We had the BlackBerry option idea that I gave to premium members. I was like 50%. Clover was 150%, and then today UWMC was like 65%. So that's really been the majority of my trading in the last few weeks. Just short-term options trades is what I've been doing. It's worked out really, really well, apart from last week. Last week I kind of got messed up with the quad witching and the Fed meeting. That kind of did break my flow for a little bit. But other than last week, like the last month, I've just been nonstop, you know, trading short-term options and stuff like that. And I'm going to be changing that soon. That's what I'm going to talk about after we finish up UWMC. But just looking at the chart, it broke that supply line. It bounced right where I was looking for it to bounce. It was literally down here. It was $9.10 earlier this week when I showed it on the stream. You can just go back to the other streams and look at it. And I talked about the same things. And now you're starting to see that pivot, right? We had the Gartley on the 1 hour with classic bullish divergence. We have the 4 hour hidden bullish divergence. If it can get above this 200-day moving average, which is pretty much where it did find resistance today, I think this has room up to, well, first you have $10, which was the previous support. But if it breaks 10, this thing, in my opinion, has room up to 11, 12. Like, I'd probably just take it by the dollar for my next resistances. And yeah, that's really the recap for a lot of different things. Now I want to talk about something that is kind of circulating my mind over the past 24 hours. Yeah, the Discord's really been on it lately. A couple of my, you know, a couple of like the swings I put out for everyone been a little bit fishy lately just because, you know, not the best momentum in the past 2 weeks. But if you remember, like if I just look at the weekly sheet really quickly, we come over here, like this week, it's becoming pretty good now. It was really, really bad at the start of the week. This week's pretty decent. Really the only big losses were all the crypto trades, but the stop losses really did help because these things went down like 30% when Bitcoin was at like 28K. So apart from the crypto trades, it's been a pretty good week. Last week was not so great, apart from Riot and AMC hitting targets, and also, yeah, that was pretty much it. But we did have a really good streak before last week and kind of this week. You know, this week was good. This was 3 weeks ago, and this was a crazy one. And most of these were like trades for everybody that I put out. Like this is probably the best, maybe the second best weekly sheet. This was exactly 3 weeks ago, so probably in the beginning of this month or the end. I think it was the end of May. But even apart from just my swing alerts that I put out, a lot of the analysts in the Discord have been crushing it as well. So shout out to all the analysts in the Discord. It's been a fun, you know, journey ever since like the beginning of May. The beginning of May started off really, really rough for myself included, for a lot of people that I talked to, for the NASDAQ, for the S&P 500. I mean, we can just look at it. It was pretty much, I think it's on the S&P, it looks better. It's pretty much this. Like this was a very big scare for a lot of people. This is when growth stocks were hitting their, you know, lows for the whole entire year, and a lot of harmonics started showing up, a lot of divergences started showing up, and then we got a bunch of trades just like this one on Fisker. So we covered Wish, we covered UWMC, we covered Clover. I'll talk about the ongoing trades in a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about something that I want to just wait a second. I'm going to talk about my portfolio for a second right now. After I talk about my portfolio strategy, I'm going to go over the ongoing trades. After I go over the ongoing trades, I'm going to do ticker requests, but we're not going to do ticker requests for like another probably 15 minutes, so don't drop tickers in the chat just yet. Let me take a look at the chat. Got some vibes. Anything else that I missed? Max says, took a huge L today. No one's fault but mine. How would you take advantage of short-term setups if you don't trade options? You don't need to trade options to trade in the short term. I used to day trade a lot without options. I think it just comes down to it's not that easy to day trade on low position sizes without options. So it really just comes down to consistency. Instead of trying to get like home runs every single day if you're day trading, you just have to focus on getting a lot of small wins and just compounding them, right? Because if you're going to be going for crazy big wins on a lot of capital and you don't have a good risk plan, you can lose a lot of capital. So it really comes down to being okay with taking little wins because they are day trades, right? So that's not financial advice, but that's how I personally found success without options, even though now I'm definitely doing a lot more options. Joey, I am charting on TradingView. And yeah, so thank you for the 26 likes. Let's get to 30 likes right now. Let me drink some tea and I'm going to talk about my part. This is going to be really interesting. Like the next 5 to 10 minutes of the stream is going to be pretty interesting. All right. So, when I started trading about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, I started really doing long-term swing trades. That was like my first style of trading. It worked pretty well. Pretty much every style I've tried out has worked. So I started off a year ago with doing long-term swings, pretty much from May of last year up until about, let's say, October. Then in about October, November, with all the SPACs going crazy and the EVs and the pot stocks, I kind of shifted over from long-term swings into like short-term swings, like, 1 week, 2 week swings. And that's what I pretty much did from like October to, let's say, March. Then in March, I started kind of doing half and half. I started doing half short-term swings or just different types of swings, and then half like options, because I gained quite a bit of experience in options around March through some L's, actually through some losses. And then in March, I started trading options quite a bit. And then for the last really April, May, and this month so far, my main trades have just been a lot of options. I've been trading a lot of options, but short-term options in the last 3 months. I started off with actually trading weeklies. Kevin just said, don't buy weeklies. It's going to be, you want to get further out options. I did start out trading options with weeklies. It was very, very hit or miss. I had crazy 1000% gains, but then I also had like losing a lot of money in like 3 hours. So I kind of went over from doing like weeklies. Now I do weeklies like sometimes. If it's really the only time I do weekly options is if it's for a day trade, or maybe like a 2 or 3 day swing like we did with BlackBerry this week if you're a premium member, which did work out. But most of my options are like currently most of my options I usually go like the next Friday or the Friday after that. So like 2 to 3 weeks out is like really what I've been doing for the last 2 months. 2 to 3 week out options. But now I'm starting to think, and I'm looking at different sectors, which I'm about to talk about. I'm going to start kind of adding to that. As a trader, you always want to be learning more and adapting more and trying out different styles and just kind of diversifying your skill set of trading. So I've done the day trades with equities, I've done the swing trades, I've done the long-term trades, I've done the retirement account, the short-term options. What I'm going to start getting into right now is longer-term options and options strategies. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be selling a lot of positions probably tomorrow. This week's been pretty good for me. Taking a lot of profits tomorrow. And what I'm going to be doing for like the next 3 or 4 days is just watching a bunch of YouTube courses on option strategies, reading a bunch of different articles. And what I'm planning on doing is getting option strategies for, let's say, September. That's pretty much what I'm going to be looking at. So what I'm going to be doing is kind of moving into September calls. On a lot of my calls that expire in July, I'm going to be moving them out to September, and I'm going to be hedging against them. Now, the reason I'm hedging is because anything can happen in between July to September. The overall market could have a really bad, negative catalyst, whatever. So I'm going to start trying to learn more option strategies. I know the basics of a few different option strategies, but I'm going to kind of try and really test them out. And then I'm going to spend probably like the first half of next week just looking at a bunch of different long-term calls on a lot of different stocks. What gives me the best Greeks, what gives me the best IV, the best spread, and looking into all of that. Now, why am I deciding to make this shift? I'm still going to be swing trading. I'm still going to be doing short-term options trades, but I'm going to try and start really adding that onto my plate, the longer-term strategies. The main reason for this is I'm seeing a lot of stocks that are very quiet names look really, really good for a 2 to 3 month outlook, and I'm about to talk about the sectors I'm looking at. But the only difference, the risk there for looking at 2 to 3 month outlooks is, the indices, they're really, really high up. I do think we're going to see some sort of a pullback. We usually do see a market pullback. It's very common to see it around when school starts. I think it happened last year as well, but we did have elections last year. So the indices, they're good for right now, but I just, it's kind of like a little bit of anxiety. Like, look at where we were a year and a half ago compared to where we are now. This is not going to, of course, I do believe the market's going to continue to go up because historically that's all it's done, right? That's all it's done historically. But I do think, like, at what point are we going to get, a 23% retrace, a 38% retrace from the COVID crash to now, down to retest those levels? I think it could happen within the next 6-7 months. But again, I have no reason to say it's going to happen tomorrow, so I'm not like freaking out about it. I'm just trying to plan out my risk. So what I'm looking into for these longer term calls, I'm not going to talk about any specific names right now, but just a big list. I'm looking into beating down SPACs. That's one thing I'm really looking into. I'm also starting to look up a lot of newer SPACs. Why am I looking into SPACs? They've been dead. Ever since February, they've been dead. I've been kind of, cross-referencing over the past, literally just the past day, yesterday night and today. I've been looking at a lot of different websites, looking at a lot of statistics on SPACs. Now, a lot of SPACs are starting to really break out of the $10 range that they've been stuck at for a couple months now. A lot of SPACs that aren't even close to merging. Alongside that, I pulled up about 3 different SPAC ETFs. There was the SPAK ETF. There's also the SPCX, I think. And I'm seeing inverse head and shoulders. No, there was one more. I can't even think about it. Is it just going to be here? No, there was one more, but the main one is the SPAC ETF. You have this inverse head and shoulders. Now, the original SPAC run in February kind of topped out at the head of this head and shoulders. You had a little bit of a bounce in March, and then you went back down. So a head and shoulders, a bearish one, already played out. Now we're getting a bullish formation. Not just on this ETF. I looked at 3 or 4 different ones. I can't think of the names right now, but the same thing there. Now, a lot of beaten down SPACs, even post-merger is what I'm looking at. XL, LOTS, UWMC, like I talked about, a lot of those types of names. They're looking really interesting. Christian in the Discord has been talking about UWMC. Looking at this chart, it kind of looks like a cup and handle. We go over to the 4-hour, there's hidden bullish divergence. And this thing got crushed. It has so much room to the upside. It has so much room to the upside. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be taking longer term bets on these, but also hedging my positions on a lot of these different types of names that got crushed but have upside. And of course, yeah, like you're saying, I'm also going to be doing a lot of research. I'm not saying these are going to be the exact names I get into. I don't know yet. I still need to do a lot more research, but these are the types of things I'm looking at. That's number one. That's the first group I'm looking at. Another group I'm looking at is Chinese stocks. If you're a premium member, you already know about 2 Chinese stocks that were alerted to you 3 weeks ago. I'm looking at those stocks which are still around their entries of the trades to try and get long-term positions on. I'm not going to say the names because they're still at the entries 3 weeks later. But if you're a premium member, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm also going to be looking into pot stocks. So I put out this new trade alert today, CGC. This is one I'm going to be looking into further out calls on. I'm looking at all the pot stocks. You could name them off the top of your head: Sundial, Tilray, ACB, MMED, KERN. All the different pot stocks. A lot of them are looking really interesting. They had crazy runs in February, literally insane squeezes, and now they're coming back down to really important levels with divergence at ice lines with major, 7-month long harmonics. What we're showing, these types of technicals? I'll show you. All the EV stocks were showing these same exact patterns back in the beginning of May. All of them. Let me just type out a bunch of names. All right. Now I can't think of that. Great. Blink. There's just, for example, Fisker. Major harmonic, add an ice line with divergence on the daily, right? Look what's happened since. All right, another one, Charge Point. Major harmonic, add an ice line with divergence on the daily. Blink. I don't really have it charted, but you know, XABCD structure, divergence, had a crazy run. You can look at half of the EV stocks, and pretty much if you go to May 12th to May 14th, that's when a lot of them bottomed out. And that's what I'm seeing in pop stocks right now. And pop stocks also, they actually did look like that in May, but they did not, a lot of them didn't perform insanely well. A lot of them had like a week of crazy gains and they just came like right back down. So just to recap, beating down SPACs, pot stocks, Chinese stocks, and also maybe a couple crypto stocks because Bitcoin looks pretty decent here. But again, I still need more data on that. And again, all these are rough ideas. That's what's just off the top of my head, what I'm going to be researching into for the next 4 or 5 days. I'm going to be looking up a lot of the stocks I just kind of mentioned, a lot of those types of sectors. I'm going to be doing a lot of research on these companies because they're not just going to be technical swings. I'm going to be holding them for multiple months. So I need to know what I'm holding for multiple months. And then also just looking at how to really do this the best way with option strategies. So I'm probably not going to be sharing this any further just because, like I've said before, you know, back in like December, everybody would ask me about options and my answer back then was, I don't want to talk about options until basically in December, I used to say, I don't want to talk about options until I get pretty good with them. You know, it took me a couple months and pretty much about like April, May, I started talking about options and now we trade a bunch of options in premium. So now I'm going to start trying to learn option strategies and I'm not going to really be talking about it for a couple months apart from tonight. And if I do get good at them, maybe I'm horrible at doing it, but if I do get good, then maybe in a couple months I'll talk about them. But that's just going to be where I'm putting a lot of my focus into. I'm not telling you to do the same thing. It's just, I like sharing what I'm thinking. It's only my opinion. I just thought it was, you know, a fun, honest, educational thing that I could bring up on tonight's stream. Because usually I just look at the ongoing trades and then do take requests. I just wanted to add like this little bit of a segment. So maybe you can, you know, go explore other trading methods and other sectors that you haven't really dabbled with too much. Whatever you want to do. Nothing I said was financial advice, as always. And that's the interesting thing I want to talk about. I don't even know if it was that interesting, but hopefully some of you enjoyed that segment. No, I haven't. All I've done is just regular like trades. I just get calls or puts. You know, I don't even sell calls or puts. I just buy calls or buy puts. That's all I've been doing for the past like 6 months. It's worked out pretty well. But I haven't really done straddles, strangles, iron condors, covered calls, you know, all those different things. That's what I'm going to be spending the next couple of weeks learning about, testing out with lower position sizes at first. And then maybe if I start seeing results, I'll increase my position sizes. Haven't really done anything with spreads. That's really it. So hopefully you enjoyed that coverage. Now all I'm going to do is talk about the ongoing trades. After I do that, we're going to do taker requests, but don't drop takers in the chat yet. We got like 49 people in here. That's awesome. Again, if you're joining the stream and you saw my tweet about like Clover and Wish, because I'm assuming that's where a lot of people might be coming from, after the stream is over, there's timestamps of every single taker I looked at, and I'll post that on my Twitter as well. And then you can just click on Clover or Wish. Otherwise, you can just use the scroll bar and go back to the beginning of the stream. That's when I talked about both of them. I don't want to, you know, keep on looking at them. But yeah, let me just read the chat for a second. Then we're going to talk about the ongoing trades for like 5 minutes. After I do that, we'll do ticker requests. All right. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hopefully you enjoyed that beginning segment of the stream. All right. Bricey Boy says options are a lot less scary if you can day trade. Can't wait to be allowed to. Yeah, I would not, you know, get into an option that you couldn't get out of on the same day. Just way too much risk. What else we got? Brent says own the stocks, sell covered options for income win-win. You know, I'll look into that. It's just, it's a different type of gain compared to longer term calls, but it's not even like I'm getting leaps. It's like 3-4 month out calls I'm looking into. Drew says explain hedging. Basically just betting against your own position. you know, kind of accepting some risk and playing off of some risk until you can potentially realize your gains. Anything else? Yeah, shout out to Medi in the chat for doing all the timestamps. I know everybody loves them. I don't even know how to really even pronounce that correctly. EHA. There's definitely a tone to it which I just can't you know, really utilize, I guess. But yeah, let's just talk about the ongoing trades. CGC, we just talked about pot stocks. I alerted this one today. Double bottom at the PCZ of a kind of bullish Gartley, not a perfect 618 from X to B. Also, the B to C point was a bit shallow. It wasn't at, I think the minimum is a 382. So even without this harmonic, I would have still posted this. But it just, the wave pattern kind of helps out with the probability. So that's what I'm mainly looking at. But look, double bottom back over this critical support, which is 24 bucks. It was your low in December. It was a support in September of last year. It was a support back in July of 2018, pretty historic level. If we go over to the 4 hour, you have confirmed hidden bullish divergence as well. So I alerted that today's TGC. It's up a couple percent since the alert. Workhorse was alerted earlier this week. This trade is currently up about 7%. It pulled back a little bit today. You just got to continue to hold above 15. Anything above 15 on Workhorse looks bullish to me. That's the important level. We'll see what happens. MLCO, it's really done nothing since I alerted this. Still around the entry, still looks the same. Nothing really to update. ALLO, this got stop hunted yesterday and then it bounced back up today. This is why I always talk about how I personally choose to wait for 4 hour candle closes before stopping out of trades, unless it's like really breaking the stop loss. So like basically yesterday morning, ALLO came down to the stop loss area. And it was just flirting with it. It never really got too much lower. It was just kind of right at it for like a couple hours. And then later in the day, it bounced up. And then today, it bounced up. And if you're in the Discord, you already know about this. But a lot of the times I say, you know, this ticker is at a stop level, but it's not confirmed on the 4 hour or the daily. And that's helped out with a lot of trades. A lot of trades, you know, get stop hunted for whatever reasons. And then if you just sometimes, again, it's not always, you can wait for candle closes, and then after the candle closes, they can run back up. And you know, either you could just cut it because it broke the support for a lower amount of loss, or you can give it a chance and say, hey, it still is above, you know, kind of that low that it created in the beginning of the month and stuff like that. But again, that's not a foolproof strategy, because you know, if you're waiting for a 4 hour candle to close, but it's like 20% under your stop loss, you probably should have gotten out of it a little bit earlier. So it's usually, I only really do that when it's like right at the stop level and it's not really going too much under. PSTH, gotta get back above 2350. This is another trade. It broke it earlier in the week and then it just fell back under it. You do have the classic bullish divergence confirmed on the daily. Hopefully that helps out. And then finally, HUYA, it hit the first target of the trade for a second time now, in case you missed the first time around, for a 16% gain. We'll see if it can run back up to 19. I mean, this is a major harmonic on this one. Like, if we really zoom out, it's pretty much done nothing, and it's already a 16% profit. Like, this, it could even go crazier than the second target as long as it holds above 15 bucks, which it's well above right now. So, that's a pretty big, you know, scuffed harmonic, but off of the nice line with divergence, we'll see what happens. And finally, Fisker, flat today. I think it was the high. So yesterday was the highest close it's seen since March. Today was around the second highest close. Pull back a little bit today with a lot of other EVs that had a very hot day yesterday. On the 4 hour, you do have almost confirmed hidden bullish divergence, which implies a continuation of this uptrend that started at 961. There's literally a clip on my Twitter from the stream where like the night before, Fisker was at like, you know, like 1020 or something, and I said, all right, the 2618 from B to D is about 962. The next day, Fisker goes down to 962, and that was the lowest point it's been at since May 11th. Then I put out the trade when it came up to 1030, and now it's at 19. So crazy move there. That's Fisker. That's all the ongoing trades. That's Clover. That's Wish. That's the stock market analysis, the Bitcoin analysis. my personal thesis moving forward for my option strategy. Hopefully the first, like, what was that, 40 minutes of the stream? Yeah, hopefully the first 40 minutes of the stream was informational. That's what I try to do. Let me read the chat for a little bit. Any recommendations for stop losses hitting for people with day jobs that aren't able to check regularly, just set a stop level a little bit lower? Yeah, definitely is subjective. You know, stop losses are very interesting. They can get pretty intricate. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but the way I kind of look at it is like, if you're going to be, you know, very busy during the day, that's probably when you want a physical stop loss, just in case something crazy happens. Now, again, it probably will screw you over whenever things get stop hunted. But that, you know, you don't want to come back from work and see your position down 25%, right? That's not going to be fun. There's always going to be more trades. So if you are, you know, busy during the day and you can't even, like, you know, take a 2-minute break to just check if things are at stop levels, I'd probably put in a physical order. Again, not financial advice. If you do have time during the day, I think mental stops can be good, because then it's, you know, harder for you to get stop hunted because you're, you know, physically stopping yourself out. But if you're going to be using mental stops and you really want to have some sort of platform that gives you price alerts, like TradingView does, right? These little alerts, wrong screen. These little alerts right over here. Thinkorswim has alerts, Webull has alerts, and yeah, you definitely just want to set those price alerts, and then, you know, then you can wait for it. But also, if you are going to be using mental stops and not physical stops, you want to make sure you have a pretty good trading mentality, because I've talked to a lot of people on one-on-one calls that just say, you know, they see their stocks at stop levels and they just have issues committing to taking their loss, and then they wake up the next day and they're down 30% or whatever. So you got to know when to cut your losses, you know, as a swing trader, not as an investor, but maybe as an investor too. I don't know. I guess it's both, but that's, again, a very it's a very subjective question. You know, a lot of people have different strategies, and you have to find whatever works best for you and your risk tolerance and your schedule and all those different things. So yeah, I did see somebody posted in the Discord about ITRM earlier today. We'll take a look at it. But yeah, we're gonna do ticker requests right now. I'm just gonna do one round of ticker requests tonight, because we've already been streaming for like 40 minutes. I had a lot to talk about. So this is the final stream of the week. I'm gonna be live again on Sunday night. So probably just gonna do ticker requests for like 20 minutes or so. Might not even get to all of them, so don't take it personally if I don't. It's just been a really long week, and I am a little bit tired right now. But yeah, don't request anything that was up 5,000%. That's obviously an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. I'm just gonna skip it because I need something with consistency on the chart, and also don't request something with only one candle on the chart. Otherwise, I actually posted like a little bit of a meme in the Discord earlier. If you request something with one candle on the chart, I'm gonna make this face right over here. Okay, you know, what do you want me to do? It's one candle, I can't really chart that. So give me something with consistency and something that didn't IPO like last week. All right, let's look at these charts. Nothing I say is financial advice. I am going to be wrong. They're just my opinions. I can't be right on every single ticker I look at. All right, I'm gonna start off with CCIV. If you put in the ticker earlier and I didn't, and I'm not going to be including it right here, just remind me in the chat, because I kind of like starting it like right when I say we're doing ticker requests to keep it organized. I think I already put in Tesla, yeah. I didn't get the entry I wanted on Snapchat today. I was looking for it, never got it. What else? BNGO. Yeah, X-ray goggles with the emojis in the Discord, super funny. right, final call. I'm only doing one round today, so I'm gonna give it like 20-30 more seconds, and then I'm just gonna be done with ticket requests for the night. Was VDRM, is this the right one? It looks like an OTC. It is. All right. We'll look at ITRM as well, but we can look at IVR. Didn't AHT have a good day today as well? Had like a pop earlier. We talked about it last night. I don't know if anybody requested it though. All right. And I'm gonna close it off on root from Matthew. That's the final ticket request of the night, just for time purposes. So yeah, you know, this is probably like 30 tickers right here, which will take me probably like half an hour. So let's get to it. We're gonna start with CCIV. One word right now, I'm bullish. I have CCIV personally. I have both calls and shares in CCIV right now. I've been talking about this level on CCIV for a long time. 24 bucks. It was your resistance at the end of April. It was your resistance in the beginning of April. It was a one-day high on January 29th. It's over that level. It broke over that level this week. It also broke out of a downsloping, kind of a bull flag, but also just like a downsloping channel, with hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD and RSI, and hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily MACD. I like CCIV. If it just absolutely fails, it's all about this 24 level. You know, I'll get out of CCIV if it breaks under 24. It's that simple. You know, that's not that far away from the current price. So I'm currently viewing CCIV personally, not financial advice, as a low risk, potentially high reward trade, because there's not a lot of resistance between 25 and 32. You went straight down, straight back up, straight down. So yeah, I'm bullish on CCIV. I'm in CCIV, and hopefully it goes well. But again, there's no certainty. This could just as well go down 10% tomorrow. I'll stop out, take my loss, and then go find something else. And I think there's some rumors about, what's it called? Potential, I think, isn't the merger vote supposed to be at like the end of next month? I saw something online today because I was looking into CCIV even more today. Somebody, if you know when the merger vote date is going to be, let me know. If it even is announced yet. BABA, 211. We've looked at this a couple times on stream. I've been looking at BABA for like the past month. It's one of those, you know, I was talking about Chinese stocks earlier in the stream. It's one Chinese stock that I've been, you know, keeping my eye on. Classic bullish divergence, 211. As long as it holds above that, it looks pretty good to me. That's really it. I don't really know if there's a harmonic here, but as long as it's above 211, BABA looks good to me. And yeah. Tesla. At this point, this probably would have been like a 500% return in like a week for me. We talked about it last night. Probably one of the more frustrating trades that I've had this year. This day right over here, I was down like 15-20% on calls. It broke this support that I was hoping for it to hold for like 20 minutes. It broke the support, but it got down to my risk level on call options, and I stopped out at literally the worst time possible, because it's never been that low since the exact minute I stopped out. I literally stopped out like that. It sucks, you know. As much of experience as you have in trading, you are going to make big mistakes. It's gonna happen. I didn't lose any money really. I mean, I lost, you know, 15% or whatever on the options, which is fine, but could have been a huge trade. I had $630 calls for like 2 or 3 weeks out. They would have been they are well in the money now. I haven't even looked. I don't even want to look back at what the premiums are on those now, just because it's gonna hurt. But yeah, everybody's gonna make mistakes. I definitely made a mistake there, but I did also send this on a watch list to premium members. It was a bullish bat, broke over the 200-day moving average. I never officially alerted it, but this is kind of how I'm viewing Tesla, or how I viewed it down over here at 620. It has room, you know, there's a gap fill to 733. If it breaks that, 788 eventually. There's not a lot of resistance. You do have this one resistance at 714. That was resistance in April and March. But it could easily, you know, do something like this before continuing up. It just went up like crazy in a week. You know, it could just make a higher low, make hidden bullish divergence, whatever. I'm not saying it's going to go straight there, but I do think eventually you could see that again. I know Michael Burry might not agree with me on that. I think he got like 500 million in puts on Tesla or something. So we'll see. But again, you know, I was really bullish on it over here. Over here, I'm still kind of bullish, but it just went straight up. It's not the same reward to risk if you're entering at this point. SNRE, it's getting close to a pretty choppy area. Let me just delete everything. This 1063 level, it was your high in January of this year and March of this year. It was even a support back in August of last year. 1063 might be tough to break. If it can break that level, it has room up to like 1250. That's a resistance from October of last year and a gap fill. No divergence on the 4-hour or the daily. So I guess your support would just be the 200-day moving average around 879. Next one is FRX. There's not much I can do here. Looks like a SPAC. Not a lot of data on the chart. Don't know anything about the, you know, the actual SPAC. Your resistance is 12 bucks. Your support is 10. You're quite literally in between both of them. So from a technical standpoint, I don't see this as like a technical trade. So I can't really talk about it. You know, there's not really any technicals to talk about. There was kind of classic bullish divergence literally this week that confirmed, but it probably did confirm because of this huge move up. It's a lagging indicator. CLF, this was also on the weekly watch list I sent to premium members over the weekend. It was hidden bullish divergence near the bottom of this channel. It had like a nice $2 move this week off the lows. It does have room to just continue on in this channel and see the top of the channel again. If not, you have this domain line as support. If you break the domain line, you have 1884 as support. That's really it for CLF. BlackBerry, got a 50% profit on this one this week, and it was an options trade. It's back at this 1250, 1260 support that it's been holding for the past 2 weeks. They had earnings today though, so I don't know what happened after hours. Looks like it went up after hours to 1280, so the important level is 1260. You did have a couple of fake outs, so you might have another fake out, but realistically 1260 is the level you want to hold on BlackBerry. It did break out of this falling wedge. It had a nice move this week up to like 13.5. I did take profits like at 13.4 on options, just because there was earnings and I was in weekly calls, so there was, you know, it made sense for me to take profits in my opinion, and that obviously in hindsight was a good decision. Hidden bullish divergence is developing on the 4 hours still, so we'll see if it plays out. It's all about 1260. VDRM, there is hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour. It's an OTC. I don't really know how strong technicals are for OTCs, but the chart is the chart, and this one, it's not too bad. There's hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour and the daily. If you can get back above 4 cents, and the next resistance would be like 7 cents. But again, I'm never going to be trading anything that's this volatile. It's just not my style. I don't want to wake up and be down 30% one random day. I don't really touch OTCs. ROST. Oh my gosh. Wow. ROST. Wow. Ross Stores. We looked at this. It looked amazing. Hidden bullish divergence on the daily. Classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour. Bullish bat. Add a nice line. It was amazing. I never put out a trade because I was just, you know, waiting for a little bit more of confirmation. Then it had this insane fake out. If I would have put out a trade, it wouldn't even matter because it would have gotten stopped out. I don't know what happened on June 18th, but it just decided to gap down. And then on June 19th, or I guess on the following Monday, because the 21st was literally this Monday, it decided to go back up 3%. And now it's running. You know, 124 is the next resistance. If it breaks that, you got 127. Crazy. I mean, it definitely passed the PCZ of a bullish bat at this point, but funny little fake out there. PUBM, I looked at it this morning. It's been on my watch list this whole entire week. I did miss the pivot today. You know, highly shorted stock, close to a bullish Gartley. just been consolidating over 32 for a couple weeks now, and then today it popped. It was up 13%, nice move. 43 is a resistance. If it breaks that, then you got 56. There's not that much data on this ticket regardless. Microsoft, another all-time high close. Microsoft has been so strong since it's hitting bullish divergence. I like to see that. Good job, Microsoft. It's like, now it's just continuing to test the upper trend line of this mini channel on the daily. Probably looks better on the 4-hour. And yeah, again, I'll say time and time again, I probably can't say when it's at like 300. It's the same thing I saw last night because that's just like too much, but still above 245 on Microsoft is bullish to me. I'd say now on Microsoft, your support is probably, your closest support is probably 253 from that little high at the end of May. Even kind of over here at 262 from that previous all-time high. It was like a one-day close and the next day open. We'll see how it continues to move. AT&T, it's at the bottom of this range. There has been a lot of fake outs of this range though, so it's kind of weird, honestly. You know, I'd probably just call it like a multi-level range. It's in like the range inside the range. That's where it really is currently at. It did have a bullish, kind of like a doji, not even a bullish dip, like it just had like a doji candle, bounced up and then pulled back. Pretty neutral stuff right there. There was classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour though, which, you know, definitely helped out with that push up, but kind of fading a little bit now. I guess you probably just want to break this supply line. If you break it, you could probably retest the 200-day moving average. That's really it for AT&T. LAC. We talked about this last night. I talked about how it could backtest the 200-day moving average. It got pretty close to doing that earlier today. It was actually on my watch list as well. It got close to backtesting the 200-day moving average and the gap fill, but it didn't literally do it. There's still a little bit of room right over here. I don't know if it's going to actually come down to like 1420, but it did pull back 3% today. Still looks the same. Hidden bullish divergence on the daily, off the PCZ of a bullish bat. Potential, you know, high or low confirmation there. Still looks good above 1285 to me. Snapchat, we talked about this last night. It was, you know, the first ticker I looked at this morning. I think it gapped up again, or not again, but it gapped up today. A lot of stocks actually gapped up today on my watch list, but I was looking at Snapchat today for a day trade. It was like the #1 thing. I was looking for a back test of about 65.70 because that was a major resistance and a breakout point of both, like an ascending triangle and a inverse head and shoulders. So I think I still do think if it back tested, there could be a decent chance of a bounce. So I'm keeping it on my watch list. Didn't happen today though. So it still looks bullish to me. I still think it's going to eventually see 73.55 unless like the market dumps or something, but like major breakout. If it does backtest a breakout, I have an alert set up right there. If you can kind of see it, I'll be alerted and I might take a trade, but also it just depends on what the low time frames look like if it does that. Watt, not much I see here. Maybe a harmonic, but that pump kind of could have messed it up. 7 it would have to be like a butterfly. Didn't get deep enough. So I don't see much of a pattern or any divergence. The 200-day moving average is your resistance. It has been used as resistance for multiple days in the past, pretty much this month. That's around $3. It's also psychological resistance. If it can break 3, it has room to 365. That's the next resistance. If it can't break it, your support is 268. Just your low from, I think, Monday. MOSY. Looks like it back tested a previous resistance and it's bouncing off of it. Oh, I already kind of charted this. It looked like a pretty close to a bullish Gartley as well with hidden bullish divergence. So there were good technicals in this area and it's bouncing off of that area. High probability area. Not a lot of data and also kind of a little bit weird looking with that, you know, that recent pump. But we zoom out, your next resistance is 780. If it breaks 780, you got $10 potentially. There's nothing in between 780 and $10 at all. And then your support, 621. Oh, we did cover BlackBerry. It'll be in the timestamps. I think I said 1260 was the important level on BlackBerry. Yeah, 1260 is the important level there. BNGO, we got to get back above 730. Still kind of looks like a falling wedge. with hidden bullish divergence, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if it can break out of this falling wedge, confirm the divergence, it has room up to like, you know, $8 to $9. If it doesn't, that's where it gets a little bit weird, because I don't really see a super clear support here. I mean, not a lot of support until like 550 if it can't break out of this to the upside. AUPH, I think there was a trade on this at one point. I can't remember. Looks like a major falling wedge. It broke out of it, came back into the falling wedge, actually bounced off the domain line, had a fake out, then ran again. I'm just gonna delete all that. It is a very choppy chart. I mean, 12.12 is your biggest support that I see. You also have the 200-day moving average as a support around like $14. Resistance probably 1627 from this high over here, this high over here, these lows. You're right in between support and resistance, so I'm not too sure. That's really it. RMO, this is a beaten down SPAC I'm looking at. Hidden bullish divergence is developing on the daily and the 4-hour. Kind of looks like XL, very similar stock as well. I don't know if I'd call it an inverse head and shoulders. It looks a little bit stretched. You know, something like this. I really don't like playing inverse head and shoulders with upsloping necklines. It's just kind of stupid to me. So we'll just ignore that. I'd probably just look at it like this. You're at 870. Your resistance area is kind of like 925. Your support is 817. Whichever way it breaks first could be telling, in my opinion. If it breaks to the upside, it has room up to 1070. If it breaks to the downside, it has room down to $7. So, you know, whichever way it breaks out of this, I think will probably be telling. No way to know where it's going to break for now, though. KERN, 200-day moving averages, resistance. I don't see divergence. I don't see a pattern. Actually, there is some divergence potentially developing. Some hidden bullish divergence on the daily. So if the hidden bullish divergence can confirm and you get back above the 200-day moving average, it could go crazy again. A lot of other pot stocks looking pretty interesting. We'll see what happens, you know. SNMP. Not really easy to chart this. Supports at 66 and 55 cents. I'm sure you don't really care about that because it's already so far away from the price. So then your closest support is the 200-day moving average, which is at about 80 cents right now. Not much I can do here. I mean, resistance is like 126. It's in between support and resistance. ITRM had a fake out today, or a stop hunt. Yeah, I mean, any stop loss that was kind of reasonable probably got stop hunted. That sucks if you were in this. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's news or just some funny stuff happened in the order books or whatever it was, but that's tough. That's the thing with a lot of these therapeutics. I always have a little bit of caution because, you know, like a failed FDA approval or just like somebody sues them because of a medicine issue or whatever it is. Like there's just so many, you know, like health therapeutical stocks that I've just seen like have crazy gap downs on like some sort of bad news. So that's always a thing. I don't really know what this company does, but you know, at this point, I mean, your support is 187 and then 163 and then 143. It decided to blow through the first two supports today, came down to 143-ish, and then it went all the way back up. So I don't really know. I'd say your resistance is 212. You've been finding resistance there for about a week now. If you break it, $3 is possible. There's not a lot of resistance between 2 and 3. Pretty wide open range. Barosun. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Thank you for the $10 tip. Let's get vibes in the chat. Okay. Mucho, thanks for everything. Thank you for the tip. Let me see some vibes in the chat. We got 48 people in here. That means we just see 48 vibes in the chat. Thank you very much for the tip. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all the tips this week, all the support, all the new subscribers, all the likes on the stream. The support's been crazy the past few weeks. Really appreciate it. There we go. We got the vibes coming in already. Thank you very much again for the 10. LTHM, a little bit of a pullback day, relatively flat. Hidden bullish divergence still developing on the daily and the 4 hour. It's confirmed. Anything above this demand line is bullish to me. Nothing really changed since like the last 2 or 3 nights we looked at it. IVR, this one popped today. We talked about that falling wedge and the hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour. We talked about that earlier this week. And now it's testing resistance. I don't know if it did anything after hours, but if it can get back above 414, it has room to 460. You cannot fail to break this, right? That was your resistance before. You don't want to let it become resistance again. You want to get above it now that you have bullish technicals, but they can be invalidated if people sell here, which people have sold at this price back in March. Nano Dimension, breaking out of an inverse head and shoulders. I charted this today. Somebody asked me about it. I kind of ignored this like little, you know, crazy gap up and then it just dropped back down. It kind of just looks like not that important. Maybe just like a news catalyst on this day or something for it to gap up and just come right back down. But I just kind of charted this like, you know, this little area to this like resistance area. And I think it broke out. I mean, even if you do include that, it still broke out, right? So it doesn't really matter unless you're looking for a back test. Close to hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour, pretty similar lows on the MACD. Next resistance like 9 to 930. If it breaks that, I mean, after that you got like 1155 if you can break like 930. So definitely has room. And then your support, you have the 200-day moving average, but that's all the way down to 740. Your support's probably the back test of the neckline. Now the issue is there's a couple different ways you can chart this neckline, so that's kind of subjective. COCP. Trying to get over the 200-day moving average. If it does, 225 is a major resistance. 172 is a major resistance. That's really all I see. You have those two highs at 172. You have this high at 225. This high at 225. This high at 225. This support at 225. This support around 225. So those are two big levels I see. And then I see a 112 support from this low. Kind of this low. You have a little bit of a fake out. You have another little support on this 123 level, 2-day low. Those are all your levels. That's really all I can do. I don't see much of a pattern or any divergence. So those are all your levels on the chart that I see. And then root, not a lot of data on this chart. I don't really see any divergence. Resistance is 1460-ish. Support is 957-ish. Kind of like 950-ish. If you break that, then you got like 832. Those are your levels. There's no pattern or divergence I see on the daily, but there is a little bit of hidden bullish divergence developing on the 4 hour. So that's root. Futures, pretty flat. Bitcoin is over 35,000 right now. That's really good. Cryptos are doing pretty well. The ITRM dip happened in 30 minutes. Wow, that sucks. A lot of vibes in the chat from Medi, Sunny, KTF, Ishan, Zara, Max, Goldminer, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. We still got 44 people in here. That's a lot of people. And I'm so tired of charting from today. I've been charting since 9 a.m. I usually like on the streams, like usually like an hour into the stream is when I kind of like really start getting tired. So I don't know, it's still 45 people in the stream. I don't want to just bore everybody, so, and I also kind of don't want to end with 45 people still here. I don't know, I mean, what else did we talk about? We talked about a lot tonight. We looked at a lot of ticker requests. KTF says, saw Tommy from Atlas say CCIV merger vote is on June 30th. Are you sure? I just sent, if you're in the Discord, send me a link. Thank you, Guy, for the 333 donation. Is that Guy in hat or the guy, which I think is the lump, or is that some other guy? I don't know who exactly that was, but thank you, Guy, for the 333. Let's get some vibes in the chat. We'll take a look at it. If anybody has like some sort of official date on a merger vote for CCIV, send it in the Discord. Because I've seen a bunch of different dates. Yeah, exactly, Max. I also saw the July 23rd date, but I don't even know if it was real. I don't know. It was you? Thank you. Appreciate it. Vibes in the chat for the guy. Oh, we already got vibes. Let's go. What stock scanners do you use? I use TradingView, FinViz, and then my favorite. Glad to be, working alongside TradeIdix. Let me just pull it up like this. My favorite scanner is TradeIdix. Amazing platform. Everything from chatters, like you can see what people are talking about on Wall Street Bets on Twitter. You can see live options flow, which is what I use the most personally. If it'll load. Joel, thank you for the $5 super chat. What? We just got 2 more super chats. Whoa. Joel, thank you for the $5. Brent, thank you for the $10. And also I'm gonna look at that ticker right now. Oh my gosh. 1 second. I didn't forget about it. I'm gonna look at ENG in like 1 second. I just want to answer this question. I'll get to ENG. So Guy, thank you for the 333. Joel, thank you for the $5. Brent, thank you for the $10. What was that? Thank you all so much. Let's get vibes in the chat for all 3. Awesome. Thank you. Joel, Brent, the Guy. Vibes in the chat for them. So yeah, TradeIdix, just to finish it off, there's live options flow. There's, Wall Street Bets, Twitter chatter. There's algorithms that give you, predictions on like, how stocks look based on their coding. You could click on bullish price action, bearish price action, calls, puts, whatever. And then there's like an actual scanner where you can input your own settings. That's my favorite one. TradeIdix, TradeIdix. Just look it up on Google and you'll find it. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do, we definitely do kind of work together. They help out our Discord. I try and, talk about them on the stream because I do use their platform every day and it's something I do think is really good. You don't have to pay for it. It's also, there's a free version as well. So yeah. That's so bright. That literally just like blinded me. We have to look at ENG, I believe, really quickly. Right here. Looks like a pretty close to a bullish bat. Already hit the PCZ down at $2. Put in a first run, then put in a second higher low bottom. Oh my gosh, the guy. $15 donation. Vibes in the chat again for the guy. Thank you very much, Lump. Can't let Brent and Joel beat me. Also, premium. Cheddar freeze. That's gonna be a lot of shots tonight. Not for me. That's like an inside joke, or not even. It's like a stream joke. I didn't mean I'm gonna be taking shots tonight. It's cheddar freeze, not me. I'm not old enough. But thank you again for the 15. I do. Yeah, the guy's the lump. I think he said that earlier. I've been thinking that this whole time. If he's not, so I hope that's correct. But thank you again for the 15. Let's get more vibes in the chat. The YouTube team is probably wondering why vibes are just spammed in my chat the whole stream, but it's okay. Thank you again. Yeah, that's correct. All right, perfect. Just chug the tea. All right. I'm 19. Oh my gosh. We were talking about last night on stream, or the night before, we were talking about if I should like, have a couple drinks on stream when I turn 21, and I kept saying next year. I don't turn 21 next year, so I actually have to wait 2 years for that. Great. I don't know how I messed that up the other night. All right, let's get back to this because we still haven't really gotten to it. yeah, two different bottoms at the PCZ, back above the 200-day moving average. If it can break over 382, which was your high from June 1st and your resistance at the end of April, and your low on March 4th when the S&P was at the bottom of the wedge, if it breaks that, I mean, there's serious upside here. I don't really see a super clear resistance, maybe kind of like 638 from like this little B point, but you could use just Fibonacci to target. Let me just skip that song because it's like words and stuff, but I really do like that song. Oh my gosh, and look at this. The 618 Fibonacci level perfectly lines up with that resistance. So that could be a pretty good upside target. It's also the B point of the harmonic, which is a textbook way to target it. So 638, it's possible if you can clear this and hold above it. So yeah, that's ENG. Let me take a look at the chat. I know I missed a lot. It's just a lot of vibes, it looks like. Let me scroll up. Oh, I did miss a lot of chats. I like this beat. Chatter Free says, we need a movie night. I forgot who dropped that idea in the Discord. I don't think we can. Copyright issues, and it's like, I think it's illegal. So I don't think we can. I don't think we can, like, you know, just play movies in a group setting. I don't know. I don't know the laws on that. Oh, we're done. We're pretty much done with take requests for everybody asking. I had a really long day. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be streaming again on Sunday, so you can ask then. Just, you know, I've been charting literally since I woke up, like 13 hours ago. What else did I miss in the chat? Yeah, the tea's over. We chugged it. Stack the Margin says, late to the stream. Sorry the time just doesn't work with my kids' night schedule. Just wanted to say thank you. And I always watch the stream once posted at night. I'm sure you're enjoying the timestamps. Shout out to Mehdi. Thank you for the message. A lot of vibes in the chat. Shelby says, calm day for my portfolio. Only gave back a little from yesterday's profits. As long as you're, you know, I always talk about this. Red days are going to happen. I had a red week last week. It's going to happen. But as long as your portfolio is making higher lows, that's just your journey as a trader. You gotta learn how to take red days well and kind of learn from them, but also keep them minimal. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can't say like everybody has their own risk tolerance, but just try and make it not like you can't sleep at night red day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just try and focus on making higher lows in your portfolio. Every time you have a dip, you want it to be higher than the last one. Like I had a red week last week, and this week has been a great bounce back so far. Thank you for the 50 likes on the stream, by the way. Really appreciate it. Sunny says, buy that premium, folks, 100% worth it. That's another shot, Cheddar Freeze. Yes, I can't even say it's 100% worth it. I don't like saying things like that because, you know, it's supporting me, so I don't even want to say that, but thank you for you saying that, Sunny. What else? Maddie says, we can Netflix party and send a link on Discord, but only people with Netflix will participate. We can look into that. I don't know how many people would show up even if we did something like that. Yeah, and also if you ever, you know, have a question about a chart, a question about trading, it would be really cool if we had like this place where like everybody who watches the stream and stuff and just random traders from around the world, just kind of, if we imagine we had like a place where everybody could kind of just like talk to each other like all day, and you know, a place where I could just like share what I'm thinking about the market, and share like alerts and like updates on the swings during the day, and we could like send memes, we could play music, we could have like a Discord bot that is worth like $1,500 a year that gives you like so much info on stocks, like option statistics, and you could see unusual flow. Imagine we had a place like that. That would be so cool. We have a place like that, and if you're not in it, I think with all those things I just said, you should be in it. Anybody can join it. All you have to do is click the link that Cheddar Freeze sent in the chat. The Free Trading Movement Discord. It's always in the description of the stream. So if you're not in the Discord, join the description, or join the Discord in the description, and I'll see you there. Okay? I'm gonna be live again at 9 p.m. EST on Sunday night. Most likely I will also be doing a group question and answers call in the Discord on Sunday afternoon. I couldn't do it last weekend, it was Father's Day, but this weekend I plan to do it as long as I'm not busy on Sunday afternoon. So you can talk to me on Sunday afternoon. Just join the Discord and join the community voice channel. I'll also announce what time it'll be, and you can ask me any questions you have about trading, about any tickers in the Discord on Sunday. So that's another thing I just want to mention. And I think that'll be it. We've still got 38 people in here, which is crazy. We're like an hour and a half into the stream. Usually we only have like 20 people left. So I really thank everybody for sticking around till the end. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I really feel like especially like the first like 40 minutes of the stream was a lot of info. So yeah, thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the tips tonight, all the likes on the stream, all the new subscribers. And I'll see you in the Discord. Have a great weekend. Have a good trading day tomorrow. And peace out. Hey, what's up, Scrooge? What's up, Scrooge? That's all I was going to say. I kind of blanked out there. All right, have a good night, everybody. Have a good night, Nathan, KTF, Joel, Medi, Cheddar Freeze, the guy, everybody in the chat. Have a good one.
Halfway home, you caught me at the station, struck me up with quiet conversation. It'd been months since you had set me free. Filled me in on your newfound meditation. The quiet lies help your dedication to dreams that you loved more than you loved me. And I do not want to be cold to you. You left me no choice again. But girl, you better act your age, or you're gonna find yourself alone someday. Standing still in the same old place, looking the same way as yesterday. Let me let you in on a secret. You got lies, I wish you would keep it inside your cage with a broken lock. I'm sick of this small talk, I'm sick of this coast. It came down so swift, and it drove 'em to the coast. We're going California, but we're all out of work. I guess that's better than a grave and a hearse. So whoa, whoa. Hey, little Hollywood, you're gone, but you're not forgot. You got the cash, but your credit's no good. You flipped the script, you shot the plot, and I remember when the neon used to burn so bright and pink. The